Hey guys, so today it's another episode of Jay's Top Tech Tips, and today we're cleaning up one of the Fender Squier P bases, and I've just noticed there's a little ding in one of the frets. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and lift that ding out of the wood. This particular one doesn't look too bad, it's not too deep. In fact, I could probably get away with leaving it. But we're not going to do that. Okay, so what you're going to need is a wet bit of cloth. This is not tissue paper. Kitchen roll would do. But yeah, if you use toilet paper, it's just going to leave bits all over your guitar, right? So you don't want to do that. So it's wet, damp, right? It's not dripping, right? If I do that, there is some water still coming out of it, but that's okay. Then I'm going to take my soldering iron, okay, and just. You got to be very careful doing this. I saw an old guy doing this who was training me to do this. Yeah, so if I just hold it very close to my face, I can tell there's heat coming off that. A lot of people touch it. That's a stupid idea. Another thing you can do is take your wet rag. You can hear that starting to sizzle. So the idea is you lay your wet rag, or your damp bit of cloth rather. So you lay your bit of damp cloth over the affected area. So on that, this is on the 12th fret, okay, and I'll adjust the camera angle now so you can see me do the actual job. Okay, so you won't be able to see it on camera, and I'm way too lazy to try and screw around with the lights to get it to show, but trust me, it's there. Okay, so we're going to just put a damp cloth. Oh, you shouldn't put wet on wood. It's fine for a couple of seconds. So I'm going to get it over there, and what's going to happen is the steam is going to raise that little ding out of the wood. Don't want to hold it on too long, just in case. You guys can't see, but I can. That's starting to come out nice. Yeah, you can barely see it now. Now before you could see the winds of the string. Now you can't see nothing, as they'd say in London. Now as I'm doing that, I can feel. There we go. Now obviously you don't want to do this too much because you can damage the wood. Okay, one more. Just where the groove is. Now I can barely feel it now. I'm going to do one more pass just for luck. Now with this technique I'm sort of going up with it, but you can just lay it across and do that. If you smell burning, that's your first warning sign that you're doing it for too long. Now, burning doesn't necessarily mean that it is burning. That is, like I said, that's your warning. What you got to be really careful of when you're doing this, right? These frets, maybe not, right? Maybe not on the cheaper guitars, but I suspect with the Squiers they still are, right? The frets are held in by glue. So if I hold this soldering iron on a fret, or if I'm doing this right and I'm a bit and I'm not careful, I'll melt the glue holding the frets in place and the frets could dislodge. Okay, so just be very careful when you're doing this technique. It will not get massive gouges out, but it might take the edge off them a little bit. Yeah, I've done this on my Ibanez, which is a £1,300 guitar and with a maple neck, and that worked out quite well. So just to make sure this is all good now, I'm going to reapply some lemon oil and finish off cleaning these frets up, and yeah, eventually job done. And if I see any more little dings in the frets where the guitar's been dropped and the string is gouged into the wood, or it's been leaning against the corner of a table, yeah, soldering iron trick, which you should have if you are a techie anyway, a good one, preferably a Weller soldering iron. Okay, if you actually want your soldering jobs to work and you don't want to be cursing yourself for being rubbish at soldering like I used to, until I actually got a decent soldering iron, and then all of a sudden it worked out well. So there we are. That is Jay's top tip. I really need to find a better name for this the series. That's Jay's top tech tip for today. Godspeed, see you soon.